Hello everyone, hope everyone's doing well. My name's Neil. Thanks for clicking on my video. If you don't know who I am, my name's Neil. I have liver cirrhosis I've been living with for the past 2 years. So this channel is basically just a way to give some information out there to become more liver aware. And also so that the people that are dealing with it know they're not alone. So again, thank you so much for all the support that everyone has given to me and the follows. And please make sure to like and to subscribe. All right, so today's video is going to be about the roles of the liver, what the liver does in the body, and some signs when the liver starts to struggle. Okay, I've been going through this for about 2 years. I was at the worst case about just under 2 years ago. They had given me 90 days to live. I was in pretty bad shape. Yellow, fluid kept building up in my lung. But anyway, before all that stuff happened, I really didn't have a whole lot of symptoms, nor did I know what the liver really did or what the role was. I mean, I had the idea that, you know, your liver filters alcohol and stuff that you drink and takes poisons out of your body. But I had no idea that it did so many other things. And I have a feeling I'm not alone. So I thought I would first start with sharing with you some of the main roles of the liver. One is detoxification, which I just kind of spoke about a little bit. Not just for alcohol or drugs, but for other things in our body that we don't need. You have byproducts. Just like when a car runs, you got byproducts, and those byproducts have to be filtered out and disposed of, and that's one of the liver's jobs. So it filters it, and then it goes out, and then, you urinate it out, or the other. So also, it's in charge of protein synthesis. So basically what it does is it takes the proteins and it turns them into energy. So basically what happens is your liver takes those main things and pumps them throughout the blood and all that stuff so that it give you strength to help you fight diseases, help you fight bacteria. Your heart's a muscle that needs proteins to be able to live on. So protein's a big one. You'll notice that a lot of people that if you've been diagnosed with some kind of liver disease, they're probably recommending a high protein diet because your body stops processing those. And what happens is if you don't have enough fuel, well, it starts you taking it from other places, like your muscles on your body. And again, like I said, your heart's a muscle, so it could take a lot of beating from this. So you definitely want to make sure you stay on top of that and keep your protein intake up. I eat a lot of smaller meals, so I eat a lot of heavy protein stuff, a lot of meats, beans, that kind of stuff. I sometimes do the powder and mix it with milk, make like a strawberry milkshake, that kind of thing. That helps too. So beef jerky is a really good source of protein. There's a lot of salt in it though, which you got to be careful, especially if you're retaining weight, which I'll get to as well, or got ascites, build up a fluid on the body. It also helps in the production of chemicals that help digest food. And I will get to some of these symptoms that will coincide with these things here in a minute. But that's why a lot of times people that have liver disease, starting to have troubles, they just maybe don't have an appetite or feel nauseous a lot. I fight with that a lot. So that's a big one. Also, it stores the vitamins and minerals in your body. You need things like the coppers and the irons and all those other vitamins to keep you healthy and keep everything going right. And the liver is not metabolizing those things, and they're not storing those things. So your doctor may also prescribe some vitamins, folic acids, vitamin C's, vitamin 12s, B12s, that kind of thing, so that you can keep your vitamins up in those main things that you need to protect it. So, but those are some of the functions of the liver, and it works closely with everything else. In fact, most of the blood that goes through your body goes through your liver and through what's called the portal vein. That portal vein is a big superhighway that runs the blood through and allows it to get filtered back to the heart, pumps again, goes all the way through your body. Well, if that blood is not being filtered and it's not having the nutrients put into it and it's not doing the things it's supposed to do, well, then your blood isn't going to do the things it's supposed to do. And sometimes too, when you get that portal vein getting tightened, and that's tight because, well, it's scar tissue. Fatty liver, when the liver expands or when they start getting scar tissue, which that's what cirrhosis is, it is the scarring of the liver that at that point in time, there's no cure for. The liver's not going to regenerate at that point in time. But the hardening of that liver starts to compress that. And then, your body starts making new roads. It starts pushing those veins to get through one way or the other. And a lot of times you'll wind up with them in your esophagus in the form of what's called varices. And those can actually bleed out, and people can bleed internally from this. It's quite dangerous. That's why they recommend every 6 months or so I go in for EGD. So they put a scope down my throat and check for varices, and I've had about 9 of them binded in the past. So, they keep a close eye on that too. And that's something too that you'll notice if you have some kind of liver disease, that they'll schedule you these EGDs every 6 months or so. Plus, they'll probably also scan you for liver cancer every 6 months or so, because when your liver turns cirrhotic, you have a higher chance of it turning cancerous. So I have to be checked every 6 months to make sure that it's cancer-free, until the point where I'm in bad enough shape to where they've decided that I can have a liver transplant. But anyway, some of the signs that you may notice that your liver's struggling, and again, I say some of these signs, but a lot of times when these signs show up, it's already kind of too late. Fatty liver generally has no signs at all. You may not even notice anything. Maybe you might notice a little bit of fatigue or something like that, but in reality, a lot of times you don't have any symptoms till it's gotten to the point of it becomes cirrhotic, hardened. And then you start building up fluids, and you start getting those varices, and you start getting thinner blood because your iron isn't staying in the blood. You're not coagulating. You can bleed. Lots of other things. But anyway, the signs that your liver is struggling. A common one you hear is jaundice, the yellowing of the skin in the eyes. When your bilirubin is way up there, it starts coming off of the skin, and that's when it changes the yellow color. At one point, I looked like a pumpkin. One thing that people started noticing first, one of the first things people noticed on me was my eyes were turning yellow. The whites of my eyes were not white anymore. And that was one of the main indications that something was going on. Now, of course, I didn't go get checked out until things were really bad, but I'm stubborn, so, and I'm sure many other people are too. But I do listen to the doctors now, so that's good news. So again, fatigue, we talked about, being tired, just a feeling of malaise. You feel like something's just not right, where you feel like you just run down, you're sick, but there's no symptoms really in reality, but you know that something just doesn't feel right. You just aren't you. Nausea, loss of appetite, I talked about that briefly. And again, that can be caused from a few things. One, those chemicals that your liver is supposed to help produce to break down those foods aren't working right. So now your foods aren't digesting properly. That's one. Two, you could have ascites, which is another sign. That's fluid built up on the stomach and the abdomen, and that could be pushing on the stomach. The liver could be swollen, because it's not doing so well, and that's pushing on the stomach. I remember I had about 5 liters pulled off my stomach and about 3.5 pulled off my right lung. And I had so much fluid built up in me that I was pushing all of my internal organs this way, over to the left side of my body. Everything kind of went back the way it should be once they removed that fluid, luckily. But with all those, extra fluids and stuff on there, well, they're pushing up against the stomach and stuff, you just may not want to eat. So ascites, I just kind of talked about that. That's from what happens is the water starts actually coming out of your veins because your liver's not doing its job in removing these things. So now it starts storing in other places. Main ones on the stomach or on the legs. A lot of times you'll see it on the left leg. But for me, it was the right lung kept filling up constantly. They had to put a tube in at one point. It was so bad. So it was kind of weird. Normally it's the stomach. A lot of times people will go in every few months and have their stomach drained, and just continue on, and they go back in and have it drained. Luckily with the diuretics and stuff, I've been able to keep the ascites down, and by limiting how much fluid I take in as well. So that's helped too. So itching's one, bruising. Itching is, again, from the bilirubins. It's pushing out through the skin. Sometimes you might notice these little red-looking spiders on your body. They're small, little red bumps and stuff like that. The bruising easily can cause from, your blood being thin, you being anemic. And again, you become anemic because your liver's not doing its job to process those proteins and those minerals that your body needs to be able to clot properly. And then, you could be cold, chilly a lot. That's another sign of being anemic, which can be caused from this. Sometimes people wind up with kidney failure. Luckily, my kidneys, and that's my saving grace, is my kidneys have been good. I haven't had a single problem with them. Knock on wood, right? And then another one you might notice is darker urine, a pale stool or clay-looking stool. Again, those are from those things not processing properly, and now they're being expelled. And again, one of the main things, your byproducts come out through your stools and through your urine. And when you have that ammonia buildup, which is those poisons that your liver's supposed to filter out, it's not. So those things can affect your brain. They can cause hepatic encephalopathy, which is HE. I've experienced this at lower levels, some personality changes. At one point before I was diagnosed, it was kind of like somebody was in the driver's seat taking control of the car. It's kind of a weird feeling looking back at it now. But it can change your personality, change the things that you would do that you normally would never do, make you say things you wouldn't normally do, act ways that you wouldn't normally act. Your emotions go crazy. You might slur your words. You might just in the middle of a conversation forget. And that's a common one for me, is the brain fog, which is, I'll forget if I told somebody about something, or I know I had a conversation, but I don't remember if we talked about such a certain item. I run into that a lot. Talking and being mid-sentence and boom, it's gone. Maybe I'll blame that on older age, but I'm in my 40s. So I don't think that's a good excuse. So I'll just go with the liver. So that's a common one, confusion, all that. Red palms, I hear that's a common one. I have not experienced that one. But they say that the palms can turn red, and mine really aren't too red. That's a common one. Abdominal swelling, that's from the ascites, that's from the fluid. Abdominal pain, chills, weight loss and muscle loss. That's a common one. So what happens is your proteins, your liver stops processing those, so now your body has to get it from somewhere else. So you hear a lot of times people that were very muscular, then they just lose all their muscles. I remember at one point someone said to me, "What's with the thin face and the big belly?" I didn't know. But it was fluid built up, and my body had eaten my muscles. That was one of the first signs, I think. when I used to be pretty muscular. I used to be really strong, and then all of a sudden, there was one point where I was barely able to lift myself up out of the bathtub. I was so weak. Now I've gotten some of those muscles back because I've been, eating right and taking the medicines and stuff like that, and staying up on everything the way I should. But yeah, I'll never get those muscles back that I had, a couple years ago. But, you continue on. Plus, I have 3 hernias. Those hernias are caused from the muscles being worn down. And then I had all that fluid built up on the stomach. And, well, eventually something gave loose. So I have 3 that I live with on a day-to-day basis, on a daily basis. I have a binder I put on them to hold everything in, but I can't be overly active. I can't, be in a bumpy ride or anything like that, So it does limit a lot of the things I'm able to do because of it. So, but, it's one of those things that, you just kind of live with. You smile and you go with it, right? It's just an extra little thorn in your side, I guess. So, but anyway, these were some of the things. This wasn't an in-depth, deep study on it, but it was just hopefully some of these things were helpful to you and helping you in the information. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. I want to thank everybody that's followed. I've just hit over 1,400 followers, and to be honest, I didn't think I'd hit 100. So I am super grateful to everybody who has followed and the amazing support. Also, I have a GoFundMe page that I have linked in the description. Thank you to everybody who has helped me. It's very difficult to get through sometimes, especially when you're living on disability and it just doesn't cover everything. So those people who have been gracious enough to, donate a few dollars here and there, it's been a huge blessing, because, right close to a week before payday, I'm out of money, out of food, and, somebody donated $10, and there you go. So thank you once again from the bottom of my heart for all the kindness and support. And again, I hope that this video helps somebody, and hope everyone stays blessed, and take care of yourselves, and have a wonderful day, and stay liver aware. All right.